King Solomon, the wisest man and king to ever live, he began his story greatly but somehow fizzled in a manner that did not resonate with his credence for some reason we may never know. I mean, is it just me or don't you think with the way he began his story, he should have benched patriarchs? Just for some thought and reflection. Well, in this video, we will be looking at an intense and kinda disturbing account put together by the wisest of all times. Seriously, he was. Ecclesiastes chapter 2, he has the following to say, listen attentively.
I decided to enjoy myself and find out what happiness is. But I found that this is useless, too. I discovered that laughter is foolish, that pleasure does you no good. Driven on by my desire for wisdom, I decided to cheer myself up with wine and have a good time. I thought that this might be the best way people can spend their short lives on earth. I accomplished great things. I built myself houses and planted vineyards. I planted gardens and orchards, with all kinds of fruit trees in them. I dug ponds to irrigate them. I bought many slaves, and there were slaves born in my household. I owned more livestock than anyone else who had ever lived in Jerusalem. I also piled up silver and gold from the royal treasuries of the lands I ruled. Men and women sang to entertain me, and I had all the women a man could want. Yes, I was great, greater than anyone else who had ever lived in Jerusalem, and my wisdom never failed me. Anything I wanted, I got. I did not deny myself any pleasure. I was proud of everything I had worked for, and all this was my reward. Then I thought about all that I had done and how hard I had worked doing it, and I realized that it didn't mean a thing. It was like chasing the wind, of no use at all. After all, a king can only do what previous kings have done. So I started thinking about what it meant to be wise or reckless or foolish. Oh, I know, wisdom is better than foolishness, just as light is better than darkness. The wise can see where they are going, and fools cannot. But I also know that the same fate is waiting for us all. I thought to myself, I will suffer the same fate as fools. So what have I gained from being so wise? Nothing, I answered, not a thing. No one remembers the wise, and no one remembers fools. In days to come, we will all be forgotten. We must all die, wise and foolish alike. So life came to mean nothing to me, because everything in it had brought me nothing but trouble. It had all been useless, I had been chasing the wind. Nothing that I had worked for and earned meant a thing to me, because I knew that I would have to leave it to my successor, and he might be wise, or he might be foolish, who knows? Yet he will own everything I have worked for, everything my wisdom has earned for me in this world. It is all useless. So I came to regret that I had worked so hard. You work for something with all your wisdom, knowledge, and skill, and then you have to leave it all to someone who hasn't had to work for it. It is useless, and it isn't right. You work and worry your way through life, and what do you have to show for it? As long as you live, everything you do brings nothing but worry and heartache. Even at night your mind can't rest. It is all useless. The best thing anyone can do is to eat and drink and enjoy what he has earned. And yet, I realize that even this comes from God. How else could you have anything to eat or enjoy yourself at all? God gives wisdom, knowledge, and happiness to those who please Him, but He makes sinners work, earning and saving, so that what they get can be given to those who please Him. It is all useless. It is like chasing the wind.
The rush hours, battling, tussling, hustling, bustling, rising up early, sleeping late, eating the bread of fruitless toil. Many place on the line their strength to the point of their vital life force for things that in the grand scheme of things do not strike any chord. In his entire escapade the only thing that was closest to sense was, verse 24 that quotes, "The best thing we can do is eat and drink and enjoy what we have earned." And yet, I realize that even this comes from God. And that the most sensible thing a man can do with his life is to please God. Verse 26 quotes, "God gives wisdom, knowledge, and happiness to those who please Him, but He makes sinners work, earning and saving, so that what they get can be given to those who please Him." Thus agreeing with Ecclesiastes 12 verse 13 which quotes, "Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, fear God, and keep His commandments, for this is the whole duty of man." I bet you it will bless you more to hear it in the Amplified Version. This calls for deep and sober reflection and a shift in mindset. May God give us grace to respond accordingly. Hope this message blessed you. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification icon if you haven't, so you can be updated when we post a new video. God bless you. See you next week.